Well, hello and welcome. Today the issue on the table, or the big question, Woyome is freed, is that justice? The whole thing started when former President Mills was alive, God bless his soul, and there was this rumor, not a rumor, but there was the actual, payment of Woyome looming in the background, so he called and instructed that Woyome should not be paid and that indeed the Attorney General at the time should investigate the issue. Attorney General went and investigated the issue. The issue went to court. The judge who sat in the matter decided that, listen, there wasn't something very clear about this payment. So break it into three, pay him in 17 million tranches, and then investigate and see if he has to be paid the balance. The next thing we heard, the man had been paid the full amount of money and disappeared. Nothing was heard of it until it appeared that his name appeared in the judgment dead list. He went in there, and it turns out that whether he has a case or he has a contract with the state or not, it wasn't clear. The money was paid. He was then tried by media. The whole nation got upstairs. We wanted our 52 million, whether we like it or not. Martin Amidu took the case to court. The Supreme Court looked at it and thought, you're right. This guy has been paid not through regular means, therefore refund the money back to the state. Attorney General takes up the case, takes it to court, and 3 years later we are told, well, Attorney General, you've presented such a poor case, you and your lot can check out of court. So here we are today, and with me to try and explain how we shouldn't be angry or why we should accept the case is lawyer Victor Dawudu, who is a legal practitioner. And thank you very much for appearing on the show.
It's a pleasure. It's been a long time.
Yes, it's been a long time, but I'm sure in the legal fraternity today, you guys have got lots of questions as to the general public think justice should be that Woyome should be found guilty and pay back the money. To us, that's justice. To his lawyers, they can't believe what justice is, that their client is free. Indeed, what is justice? Let's start on that premise.
Indeed, justice is relative. It depends on the context in which you are looking at it. Justice, maybe in a simple balance, I would say what is fair, what is equitable, what do you do to another person and you think that I have not wronged that person, or that person is appeased for somebody who has offended that person. So when it comes to the issue about justice, it's very nebulous. And within the legal parlance, there have been a lot of people who wanted to find out what justice actually is. We have Dworkin. When you go into jurisprudence, there are a lot of people who talked about justice, theory of punishment, and the rest. But what we see in this particular case, that what is justice in this matter? Justice is what the law and the principles or guiding principles the law has set down, that if somebody is brought to court as an accused person, this should be the principles that should be looked at. When you look at these principles and you are satisfied with the principles and the case that has been brought before you, you measure it with them, put it at yardstick. If you are convinced and satisfied, then you can convict the person and say that is justice. Now, people should also understand that when the Republic has a case which is mounted by the Attorney General and the police, they are to prosecute the person, but not to persecute the person. More of the time, people think that if you are judged in the court of public opinion, where morality is the yardstick, where everybody has different notions about justice, and it goes to the court, where the court will use its principles and look at the scale of justice, how it is will balance, and applies this principle, people don't understand. They do not agree to it.
So let's go back to President Mills instructing that Woyome shouldn't be paid, Chief Justice go and investigate. Indeed, I remember Betty Mould Idrisu at the hearing, because there was a hearing, and she said specifically that her instruction was to go and investigate. but not to come back and report. I was actually very disappointed in that answer. I heard it. She said that the president told her to go and investigate the matter, but not to come back and report. So she was waiting for the president's office to come and get what her answer was. That aside, then they moved to court, and the judge then said, look, pay 17 million tranches, so that gives you time to investigate the payment. The next thing we knew, the 52 million had been paid. The whole nation gets upset. Martin Yamdu takes the case up, goes to Supreme Court, and says, no, pay him back. So you can understand the frustration of the average citizen that, what is it then that this non-persecution but prosecution presented that they alone could not, get us our money? Everybody, from the president, all this chronology, there's just this team of lawyers who somehow went to court but never succeeded to get us our 52 million.
No, before we go on, let me correct some impression that is being formed. Now, all what you just narrated from His Excellency, the late President Mills, right to court, and he was asked to be paid. That is the civil dimension of this matter. When you have a civil matter, every matter that comes, any matter that comes, we can have the civil, which says that it is between two individuals. They can be citizens, two different parties, individuals. So that's the civil matter that when you go to court, the court has to give you a remedy, what you have asked for. If it is your land you want back, or your money, you think you've been defrauded, then you have to prove this, and the court will give you that remedy. If it comes to criminal justice, it is between the state, the republic, and the accused person. These are the two parties in the criminal matter. When it gets into this, more often, usually, the court in the criminal matter is to punish the person for what he has done. The court is not to ask him, or the court is not to take the money from him. He has to just punish him. So if they say you have stolen, the court will punish you and say that this is what the law says should be the punishment. Let me use a narcotic drug. If you are caught with narcotic, the minimum sentence is 10 years. So if it is proved that you had narcotic on you, the law says minimum 10 years, and they can give you 25 years. The law is not going to say that all the proceeds that you had whilst you were dealing in this trade, you should be taken.
Victor,
what you can say...
That's a wrong analogy, because this is state money.
I'm coming, this state money. Now, what it can do is that the civil dimension is where you can start another process to prove that that was the proceeds. So now you can confiscate those ones and take the money. So in this matter, in this very criminal matter, the court was not expected to say that, Mr. Woyome, pay 51 million in this criminal matter.
Hey, Victor, you are throwing another dimension.
No. That is why it was in the civil matter taken by the Honorable Martin Amidu.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court said that no, there was no contract, so he has to refund
Victor,
the money.
Are you saying that the Attorney General was just going to seek punishment for Woyome and not to get us our money back?
That is, in criminal matters, mostly, that is why Martin Amidu chose to go the civil matter, and the Supreme Court has spoken on that matter. When it comes to criminal matter...
No, Victor, so are you saying that if they had found Woyome guilty today, the judge would have said, well, go in for 7 years or go in for 15 years?
That's supposed to be. That's what the law says.
That's of no use to us. We wanted our money.
So the law gives you another remedy. That is why mostly when you go to court, it may not be appropriate analogy. Let me say somebody is knocked down by a vehicle, a running vehicle. Now before insurance will even pay you your money, You go through the criminal process where the person admits the guilt. Then after that, you now have to come for the civil proceedings and can sue the insurance for them to pay you because the man has pleaded guilty. That is how the law has structured it. So it does not mean that after the criminal proceeding, if the person was found guilty and has taken money, it forecloses everything to the redress. That's the dimension. So normally,
why did the Attorney General go for the criminal charge rather than the civil? Just to
no, the civil had already been taken. Even before,
but he refused to pay the money.
No, wait. Before the Supreme Court, in the Martin Amidu case, pronounced on this matter, there was another matter before the Commercial Court, High Court, that fraud was perpetrated on the state. There was that court, that case. I don't know how far that case has gone.
I don't know too much about it either.
Yes. So there was a civil case. So there was a civil dimension and there's a criminal dimension to this matter. Right. So that's where the law, when it defines in our criminal codes, it defines the offense and gives the punishment. It is only when it affects somebody, the court can make a restitutional order that pay this amount to the victim or return the money.
Victor,
yeah.
You see, the sentiment about Woyome's payment in this nation is very rife.
Yeah.
Ex-President Rawlings, late, God bless his soul, President Mills, from the highest to the lowest have complained about our 52 million. Indeed, personally, I feel that because of his political alienation, we've forgotten all the big fish, because there were lots of people who took money who, if we had taken time to look through, would have gotten a lot of money back. But because they don't have any political affiliation, we've let them loose. That's always been my argument. However, with this 52 million, there's been a single track, released where even parliamentarians have sang about it. We needed that money. Is the Attorney General not, the chief, were the prosecutors not aware that, listen, we need this money?
No. You see, the money, if you go to court and court gives you a judgment, it used to be the law, the position of the law, that if somebody owes you money and he doesn't pay, you show cause why, if you've not paid the money, you should not go to jail. But with the advent of human rights, liberty of individual, of our citizens, the law changed. So if somebody owes you money and you go to court and the person is not able to pay, the court has also made it that you go through execution process. That's when you could see that somebody's house, they've tied a red ribbon. Now, if it is attached, you go to court, you value the property, you sell the property, you take your money, and if you are not able to satisfy yourself, you go for another one. That is how the court has arranged that. The fact that the court has given you judgment, you need to kickstart the process to get the money. So you cannot say today that I owe you money, I haven't paid you, you've gone to court, the court said, yes, I owe you money. So you believe that because I owe you money, I should be thrown into the gallows. It used to be the position of the law. It has changed. So if we have to take our money from Mr. Woyome, and that is what we are looking for, then there is a process by which we need to go through.
Okay, let's listen to some insights from Parliament, from ex-President, Rawlings, and just hear the sentiment cross-board, and then we continue. And then we find out why indeed they took those charges in particular to court. Station.
And I believe that after 3 years, this particular case has come to an end. I mean, you've always maintained that your client is not innocent, but the extent to which the verdicts will go. Were you surprised by the extent to which the judge read the content?
Well, I wasn't surprised because I expected this. And that has always been our case, that we did nothing wrong. And so this case has buttressed our point that we did nothing wrong.
And you said you did nothing wrong. I mean, for example, the judge raised the point that Mr. Woyome actually had a contract with the state. I mean, moving on, the question people are asking, it has to do with the reputation to his image. Is that something that your office is going to take up?
Well, you see, the institution of criminal prosecution has always been vested in the Attorney General in the name of the state. And so it is a prerogative, if you like, that the Attorney General may decide at any time in the course of her duties to prosecute a person for an offense, although not capricious or arbitrary prosecution. The Attorney General believed that an offense had been committed. The accused person believed that he had not committed an offense. You see, so the prosecution, I wouldn't call it a malicious prosecution. I would say that they believe that they had a case, they presented it in court. We believe that they didn't have a case. That is the beauty of the law. They have failed, we have won.
Let's establish one thing. So I was on the Supreme Court when Martin Amidu won a case against your clients, where the state is asking him to bring back more than 50 million Ghana cedis. How is that different from in today's judgment?
That one is a civil claim. This is a criminal prosecution. The standards are different. The two are not the same. You may win on a civil claim against a party, but lose on a criminal prosecution against the same party. They are different. That is what the law has made a clear distinction between criminal prosecution and civil prosecution.
And with that particular case, I know that the Attorney General is on the heels of your client to pay back the money. Can you tell us anything with respect to that?
You see, with regards to payment of that money, I have stated that I do not have the instructions of my client to speak to that matter. It is a matter of privilege, and unless I have his specific instructions, I'm afraid I will not be able to speak to that.
There'll be party tonight, I guess.
Well, not party. There will be prayers tonight to thank God, the Almighty God.
How do you feel? 3 years, such a long time.
I feel good. I feel fine. I feel that justice has prevailed. That's it. Okay. You know, this is our work. We do it all the time. Every day we are in court. And so we win sometimes, we lose sometimes, and we move on.
I think that the courts have spoken, and Ghanaians should take what the judge has said. The state has another opportunity in the Court of Appeal if they are dissatisfied with this ruling. They have another date with the Supreme Court if they so wish that the Court of Appeal had not ruled according to what they feel it should be the case. We should allow the process to take its course. As we stand here today, if the judgment is anything to, or the ruling is anything to go by, the court, in the opinion of the judge, the prosecution has not proved the case against Alfred Woyome, and therefore, that is it. He works. Woyome is a citizen of the Republic of Ghana. He has a right to belong to a political party. So if he belongs to the NDC, so be it. But the NDC party has not received money from the Attorney General, has not received money from the state of Ghana. Mr. Woyome was the one who was paid money. And so let's concentrate in the appropriate quarters. If you want to bring in political party, we'll get nowhere. Because for us, it means nothing. It was used as a campaign tool against us. We still won our election. So we are not bothered about that. We should be concerned as to whether our courts are working, our judicial system is working to the best of its ability or not.
From the little report I've heard, the court was lamenting about the poor showing of the prosecution. That is to say that either the prosecution deliberately presented a weak case or that they did not prepare. But for me, and I stated this much earlier, that the chances of getting a conviction on Mr. Woyome alone without the public officials was a far-fetched one. Way back, because as I just said, he presented documents. if the public officials had not conspired with him, it would have been impracticable to get any money. So the moment they withdrew the charges against the public officials and they refused to charge Betty Moldrisu, for example, I had never had any faith. And I'm not surprised that the prosecution had a hard time proving the case. All along, we had followed the trial. The judge had always been lamenting about the poor showing of the prosecution because they were having a hard time showing that he did anything untoward alone.
Any keen follower of what was happening in court since the inception of this case would not be surprised about the outcome.
Why do you say so?
I say so because, you see, it's the Attorney General that prosecutes all criminal cases. And if the Attorney General is not too much interested in a case, it becomes obvious. And if you follow this case very well, you appreciate the fact that at a certain point in time, even the presiding judge was a bit angry that the witnesses they were calling, they were not coming and all that. So I knew it. And any keen follower will not be surprised about the outturn of the events as happened this morning.
As Attorney General's office, women who collaborate as this and our chairman, I'm not many. Tell my victim and sentence, man. We are fighting corruption. We're not serious. We're not serious. Meanwhile, I'm a family job. I have work positions here, party here. We know how two more party here, back on more. But 40% Asian, 60% air voting. To protect themselves, you want one vote, one how many? You want another yano. Bulu jiwa. Are we so stupid? As the support base, the electoral college, one another yano. Kegake, Mineko, ni chabo nuhe, ona no confeto mo ona. Nibiya onu. Mineko ye mayueko.
Well, a cross-session and diverse. My counsel is even laughing because he said, these are the witnesses I'm bringing to court. These are my witnesses I'm bringing to court.
I'm laughing because, yes, I understand the sentiments of society, the Ghanaian populace, because in the court of public opinion, with the moral yardstick, they think that it has gone wrong. The case has even been proved beyond all reasonable doubt.
Before court.
Before court. Now, you see, let me just put it in context.
Let me just acknowledge those who spoke. There was Musa Ahmed, who was Wyome's lawyer. There was George Lowe, MP for North Dai. There was Joe Osei, former DVLA boss. I'm not sure of his...
Bekwai.
Oh, Bekwai, okay. And one thing that he said was about the conspiracy. But I'll let you, go on.
Yeah. You see, now, the law puts the arrangement by the law. It's that prosecution has to prove beyond all reasonable doubt. That is the burden that is put on prosecution. As an accused person, you don't have to prove your innocence. You don't have to prove anything. The only thing you need to do is to raise a reasonable doubt in the mind of the court. So let me give you an analogy. If they say somebody is dead or a mob has beaten somebody, the person is dead. You find me there. By the time the police come in, they find me there also going to watch. At the material time, yes, they saw me. I was with the cops. The cops was there. So they would now take me that you are one of the people who killed him. But if I go to court and I'm able to raise in the mind of the court that, yes, I was just going to see what was happening. I wasn't there, and I'm able to bring people to say, no, this man did not do it. I've been able to raise a reasonable doubt in the mind of the court. And the court would say that, no, I have not, prosecution has not proved its case beyond reasonable doubt.
Now that, I'm going to take a break, and then when I come back, knowing very well what you have to prove to get a conviction, why do you take those particular convictions? Because with my elementary and Akwamu legal background, I know if you tell somebody that they've caused willfully financial loss, it would depend as if the money was in their drawer and they had, power over it, and they signed and assigned to use it, willfully. But could that be proven in court? We're coming straight back after the break. Woyome freed, and we are asking, is this justice? And with me to try and educate us why or how the court proceedings are, my own brother Victor Adawudu, legal practitioner. But Victor, willfully causing financial loss, defrauding by false pretense. If the prosecution don't lie, how are you going to prove this? Unless you lie, how do you prove this?
Oh, willful financial loss. It is the law which says that yes, public officers are always given money to spend for and on behalf of the state in implementing their programs. Now, if it is found out that you use money recklessly
as a public officer,
you knew it was deliberate just to use money because it does not belong to you, you can use it anyhow, then that is when you have to be punished. So the operative word there is willful.
Yeah.
Now, you need to find out, is Mr. Woyome a public officer? Does he work for a public institution?
Number one.
It's one of the questions you need to ask yourself. I don't think so.
No.
He's a private citizen.
So
if you come, and let's say that he had connived with some public officers.
Well, and in this case, no, because no public officer was called.
No. Yeah, you see, the law also says that if you have a witness that you have to call, that when you call him or her, would settle the matter in favor of one party, in favor of the prosecution, or inures to the benefit of the accused. If there is that material witness that you fail to call, then it must inure to the accused, and the accused must be discharged. However, the court has been very eloquent also to say, that's the principle.
Let's go back and I'll let you go.
Yeah.
The Attorney General has taken Mr. Woyome to court for willfully causing financial loss. Mr. Woyome is not a public figure, hasn't got access to any public purse. How were they going to prove to the judges that indeed this man willfully caused financial loss? How, if they don't lie that he works for Bank of Ghana, or you didn't know, but he's a government official, how were they going to secure a conviction?
I don't think that everybody, yes, people may say what is not true in court, but you see, it is what the facts you put before the court will use the principles of the law to look at it. Yes, you are looking at a charge.
Yeah.
Charge is always put before the court. Now, you would have to establish the ingredients within the charge.
Number one, that Mr. Woyome is a government official.
Yeah. Now, it might not necessarily that he should be a government official,
but has access to public funds.
To access to public funds, and he has willfully used it. Now, we may also, let me put it on record that because we do not have the full judgment, it is difficult to critique or look at the judgment, what has been said.
Well, you be cautious, but I deduce, even though I don't have the full, I deduce from some of the comments made by the judges, i.e., you're shoddy, you are ill-prepared, you haven't proven yourself to be on reasonable doubt. Straight back to the charges in which they brought. And I can make another reference to Kennedy Japan when he made his statement, and he was tried for, he was taken to court for treason and terrorism. I said on air that, this case is dead on arrival. Because how are you going to prove that he's a terrorist? How are you going to prove all these treason once you go to court? So then, it's not that the guy hasn't done anything wrong, but the charges that you brought, you're unable to prove it.
One of the difficulties that prosecutors or people who, or the police, even prefer charges, is that if that offense has not been defined within our laws, there's no punishment for it. Now they'll go to within the law and see what charge they could put, and it fits within the element.
I mean, couldn't they have gone to court with, paid through undue, like improper contract or something? Paid through an improper contract or something.
No, because
that's all that happened.
The law hasn't defined anything like it's not improper contract. What it has defined is pretense by false pretense. The law has defined that in section 131. It has defined that. Yes, which I think that was one of the charges. I think it was one of the charges.
Defraud.
Yeah, defrauding by false pretense.
No, but
yes.
that won't hold.
No.
That won't hold.
No.
Defraud won't hold in this case.
No, because, you see, if you look at it, the civil dimension says that they are saying that he used, he was very crafty in a way to be able to, hoodwink them to believe that there was a contract with them. I think that's the basis of that. And they're saying that there is no contract with them. So if you tell somebody that there's an existence of something, that I will give you this paper if you give me this. At the time that I was making that representation to you, this paper was not there. Then it falls within the defrauding by false pretense. That I know very well that I don't have this, but I promise that I'll give you this if you part with some money or some consideration. That is it. So it's the charge that maybe the judge has said yes, they were shoddy. They did not
prove this charge.
Yes, what the judge said. It's because we don't have the full judgment. We cannot harp on only a liner or two.
Let's move to.
But I think that the judge has also made his comments, his observation, because he watches the witness, he watches the trial. He has advantage to look at the demeanor of the people who come before him. So, yes, he's allowed to make his comments.
I mean, I was monitoring the waves. I mean, the judge has actually used, some certain parts of evidence produced as a waste of time. I mean, they've gone that bad to say, look, they've wasted their time in certain evidence that they produced. There were certain people that were called, and the judge was wondering, why do you even bother bringing these people before me?
I think that in all, they called about 9 witnesses. But you see, I have a little problem where the judge would, yes, he could say the material witnesses or people who had to be called were not called. But if you zoom into mentioning people, the name, I have a little reservation and little difficulty. I'm uncomfortable. In a sense that, you see, that would mean that you have had a preconceived idea.
No, I think...
No, because you are saying that I believe this person should be called. So you are expecting that person should be called. You don't even know what that person is going to say.
I'll tell you why. Victor. You brought somebody for willfully causing financial loss. Number one, this person is not a government official. All the government officials in the chain that ordered the payment, you don't call them and you bring me this guy who's not a government official and tell me that he's willfully caused financial loss. Of course he hasn't. I'll have to let him go home. I have to let him go home. And I'm thinking, why couldn't all the people who ordered the payment be asked, what contract or what basis do you pay the money? I mean, that could have been simple.
It could, yes. I do not believe at the point that that's why the principle of the law says that if there is a material witness who has to be called and prosecution fails to call that, then the accused has to be acquitted because a case has not been proven. Now, the same Supreme Court also comes out and sets the law and says that it is at the discretion of prosecution to determine who is a material witness or not. Right? I'm coming. You see,
for our elementary, elementary law.
So if no, that is the law. And before this is done, the law has also put. Let me just read something here for you, as the law has laid down by the Supreme Court in 1963. It says that in Lutheran versus COP 1963, the Supreme Court laid down 3 principles to prove a case against an accused person. A, if the explanation of the defense is acceptable, then the accused should be acquitted. If the explanation is not acceptable, but it is reasonably probable, then the accused should be acquitted. If, quite apart from the defense explanation, the court is satisfied on the consideration of the whole evidence that the accused is guilty, it must convict. You know, the court has laid these principles by which you have to look at. That will tell you that he should be acquitted or not. But in this particular case, the reason why I don't want to go into conjecture and say anything is that this is a case in which when they filed submission of no case, the court said no, some issues have been raised. You need to answer some questions. The court said on the face of it or after even evaluating the evidence by the prosecution, Mr. Woyome, you have a case to answer. And in doing that, he's been able to raise that reasonable doubt in the mind of the court.
I'll take a break here and I'll find out that, let's see, we'll give a couple, maybe a week from now, will the Attorney General be on trial for this shoddy presentation or shoddy prosecution? Don't go, we are coming back. Well, just before the break, the topic we're discussing, Woyome freed, is this justice? Before the break, I was just wondering that in a week or two's time, can a citizen drag the Attorney General to court and say, listen, I didn't really feel your effort and eagerness to handle this case? And why do I say that? Folks, all the people involved in the case, former Attorney General, the Speaker of Parliament, these are all bigwigs. Could could she in reality say, listen, I'm going to call my former colleagues and drag them to court to come and answer? I'm just throwing caution to the air, but I have my legal brother here. I'm saying, can an Attorney General call an Attorney General and say, look, come in here, come and answer why you paid this money? That's too much pressure.
Oh, yeah, why not? It will be done, it can't be done. And
no, but she was trying to find a way so that she doesn't have to call, these guys.
I don't think so, because, you see, with criminal justice system, one of the issues could be, can you give me some vital information that I can use to prosecute? So I wouldn't use you as an accused person. Maybe I'll use you as a prosecution witness, because I think that the information you have would enable me prosecute my case. The judge, even in his ruling or judgment, I think somewhere said that most of the things that the Attorney General brought even corroborates what Mr. Woyome has said. Are you getting it? That means some of the documents they brought corroborates his story. Are you getting it? And it depends on the law. The law that we do mandates the Attorney General to institute criminal procedure, criminal matters, and it is the law that gives her that discretion who she should call, who she should not call. Based on the information they have, we cannot understand it until they give us reasons or they know the reasons how they prosecuted their case.
Victor, Mr. Woyome, use the word caution, it's not a petty thief. Hasn't just walked into somebody's Apampem kiosk and picked up 10 cedis and walked away, and then you bring him because well, there you go, he took 10 cedis. This is a man who's produced papers and documents and has gone through a series of high-profile people all the way to the central bank before they issue monies to him. And then you bring him to court and say, well, you've taken the money. Of course he didn't take the money. The money was given to him through a channel. I mean, wouldn't the simple thing to find out from the channel, Mr. A, were you clear to pay the money? Fine. Well, Mr. B, what was you? Because they might all gone through some red tape to make sure that, well, this guy, we owe him 50 million and therefore take it. And if you don't ask all those people, then I think the Attorney General should be on trial.
No,
Can she be on trial?
I don't think so, because
she's immune.
The law, not that she's immune. The law gives her that power to initiate the criminal prosecution or not. 2, there could be, if there is an error of judgment on her part, the law gives her that discretion that there was an error of judgment. If she's right,
I mean, this is
the law gives her.
This is willfully
the law gives her
state law.
So it is based on the information that is available to you, you make a decision on. So we don't know the information that was available to the prosecution. And one of the things that, for me, we need to be looking at is the way we preserve our data, records, and others within the public service. It's something that everybody is concerned about, because documents go through different hands, and at the end of the day, you will find some, you will not find some. I'm not saying that that is the case, right? So we don't know the circumstances, the difficulties maybe that this is just document. I'm not holding briefs.
No, I know you're not. I know you're
Yeah.
not. But you see, what I'm saying is that it's such an open and closed book that because the man did not take the money physically, and indeed he didn't even get the money from just one person, 2 persons, probably about 5 people, not to find out from any of them, at what point did you think we have to, the state owed this man this money for them to say, that's the receipt, or that's the contract, and that's why I paid it. I'm sure we would have all been adverse.
I believe that the AG has made it clear that she will look at it and go on appeal. Now, if you're going on appeal is a way of hearing the whole matter again.
Can you call new witnesses?
No, you don't call witnesses, but what if there is new evidence? No. You need to put all that had happened.
So Barton, Odro, Betty Mold is not going to call. They won't be called on the appeal.
In court of appeal, you don't stand in the witness box. All that you have, you put the law, the facts, everything on paper. The other side would also do same. Then the 3 judges would read and find out, because they need to evaluate all the evidence that was put there, right? So if she was in court, she had listened to the whole judgment, and she says that no, she's not satisfied because she thinks that they have proved beyond reasonable doubt.
That willfully caused financial loss.
So that's what they. So let's get the whole judgment, and I believe after getting the whole judgment, we can look at it with an eagle eye. And
Victor, you're a lawyer. Yeah. I mean, willfully causing financial loss, can that be put on a private person? Can you charge a private person for willfully causing financial loss that a private person hasn't got direct access to state funds?
That's a difficult one. And a private person in his capacity cannot, but if he had opportunity
to collude or connive,
yes, maybe with other public officers that had happened.
No, so that would come under defrauding by false pretense or something.
Yes, yeah.
But the willfully causing financial loss.
Until we see what the facts.
That willfully caused financial loss. I mean, I don't have access to state money.
No, maybe Nana is here, has had some access to some public funds. Although you are working here, there's some public funds somewhere
that we don't know.
That you've had access
but you see,
to.
But this is a case where there's the 52 million cedis that came from the votes of Bank of Ghana. This guy hasn't got the key to Bank of Ghana.
No. But he has been consistent. He has been consistent that he took the money based on a court order. That was why he was paid. Mm-hmm. That's why he was paid.
But the court even ordered to pay only 17 million.
Yes.
And then they went ahead and paid that 52 instead of the tranches of 17. I mean, surely they should have called Betty to find out the reason why he decided to pay one check instead of 3 checks.
I'm sure as the day unfolds, we will get to know a lot. I believe that the law even says that for every trial, anything that comes before the court, a judge has to give reasons why he preferred maybe the accused story more than that of the prosecution. And if we read the full thing, I believe that it will give us more information and we can come back and look at the matter.
Well, I think that's exactly what we're going to do.
Because if not, we maybe still come back to the court of public opinion.
Because,
you know, I know the populace, they are mad. They are not happy, but you see, for me, one of the worries that we may have is when issues come up. You see, when you color it with politics and you play, it gets somewhere, and you know this is how it would end up. Let it be, if it's a criminal matter, let it be a criminal matter. But the moment we try to politicize the matter or we add that coloring, you know, people become divided. And instead of what has to be done, because you could see that the judge has spoken, and I believe that there had not been any political interference in the work of the judge.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So
judge was just particularly,
he was particularly doing
with the attitude of the prosecution.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
so I'm always that anytime we try to color it, we create problems for ourselves.
Victor, that's all time will allow us, but we'll try and get the judges, judgment, read it through, and then do a part 2 of this show and just find out if this is justice. But thank you very much for coming. And folks, as I always say, thank you very much for watching. Who knows, tomorrow we'll be back to do it all over again. But on personality profile, we have Dr. Emmanuel Akwete of IDEC. What a fantastic life he's had. I'm sure you don't know too much about his private life, growing up in Kumasi and sneaking off to the zoo. You don't want to miss that. Thank you very much for watching. Victor.
It's a pleasure.